Alright, my sexy meat sacks. Look at this little sexy little meat sack. I'm doing another Rage Vortex, this time as a Slayer. I am going crit here, plus 10 to maximum rage here, and then some regen life and a couple cluster jewels. These cluster jewels on the strength nodes are always really strong, so I like to get them. I would really love to be able to get this one and these axe nodes here, but unfortunately, in order to make this a somewhat functional build and quality of life, I need this regen nodes here. I need to pop these life nodes, and I'm only level 91. So if I leveled this up another 4 levels to 96, 95, I could get that or get this. But I'm probably not going to do that. I'm running this right here to get my endurance charges, this for the extra life, and I happen to roll, I was just slamming it really hard, I happen to roll a really good life node one. I don't really need this life, but the gain 10 life per hit is extremely important for, okay, it's not extremely important, it's just slightly important for this build, because the only way I'm getting life is through leech, and this counts as a form of leech, so I'm getting a lot of life from this 10 life per enemy hit, and this skill hits a lot. So that is the basic setup. I'm also running Impale. I figured I might as well get some Impale since I'm only doing physical. Here is the setup. Rage Vortex, anomalous endurance charge on melee stun support, awaken brutality, awaken melee damage, and pulverize. Its AoE is pretty good. I have another variation where the AoE is significantly better. But I made a video of that, and I put Buffalo Bill saying, "Would you fuck me?" And it's getting heavily hidden from anyone aside from my subscribers. But if you're interested in that, go to my channel and you can check out the AoE build. Let's run some shit. This ring right here gives me +1 to maximum frenzy. This one gives me frenzy charges plus some additional crit. Obviously AoE. Abyssus with a Rage Vortex plus 5% of rage per Rage Vortex. It's a pretty good build. I'm not exactly sure what it can do in terms of bosses, because I haven't fought any bosses with it. So let's do a regular map first. Let's just do a Strand, because I'm a Strand fan. Actually, I'll do a WastePool. WastePool and Strand are both pretty good, but WastePool is easier to find than Strand. I cannot do that. Let's try another. Let's also make sure I'm sexed up. I am not sexed up. I wanna sex me up. Alright, I am now sexed up. Reduce curse. Yeah, that's all fine. I'm double cursed. I can't do this just yet. Okay, god damn, motherfucking sun came out. Live up here in the woods to avoid the sun. And here it is, coming out. Fuck the sun. It's not needed. Just live in the ground like some fucking mole rats. I honestly can barely even see my screen. That sun reflection is so strong. I've never understood people that enjoy laying in the sun. What are you, a fucking dog? I hate laying in the sun. Oh my god, it is so bright. Right in my screen. It's exactly what you guys wanted to. Actually, I gotta stop this video and fix my sun. Alright, sun fixed. Obviously, I died.
My spirit is spent.
And one of the cool things about this Rage Vortex is it's technically a range skill, and you can still get Fortify with it if you so chose. If I wanted to get rid of one of my support gems and put in Fortify support, I could totally do that. Or if I had an axe that had a chance to fortify on hit, it would fortify. I think this is, this and Smite are like the two big boys that can fortify from distance. And this obviously is more damage than Smite probably. And you can do physical damage, which is great. Elemental damage is kind of a pain. And I'm pretty much only going to use a Templar Inquisitor for elemental damage in the future. It's just so much easier.
I can't do this just yet.
See? It can boss pretty well. Just hit Berserk, and you basically one-shot. Ooh, Gloom Shrine. I got some good sex. It feels pretty good with this life total. You can die kinda easy, but if you're paying attention and you're playing well, which I don't do, but most people probably play a lot better than I do. I'm not one of the high skill players. I am a low IQ, low skill player. So any build you watch me play, know that you could probably play it significantly better than me. So if it looks fun, give it a shot because you could probably play it better than I do. In fact, you could probably path better than I do. You could probably gear better than I do. Because I'm not really focused or talented in that area. I am focused on just testing builds out and having a lot of fun. Because, you know, like the song says, girls, we just want to have fun. That worked quite well. Now let's do a boss with it. Biggity, 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 biggity balls. I got no big boy bosses. Fucking 8 of those, 6 of those. What? I don't even know what. I wish it would say what that was named. I think that's the Minotaur. Do I have a Minotaur? I do not have a Minotaur. Let us do... I've done Phoenix with the other ones. Let's do Phoenix with this one. Yeah, that's all solid. That is all good. That is all what I want to see. So my crit chance, I think, is pretty low. 379. I mean my crit multiplier. So the crit multiplier could use some work. I'm running that crit there. And this crit here. I could probably maybe put some other crit in some other way. I'd love to be able to get rid of this, but that accuracy is extremely important. It puts me in the 93 range. If I get rid of it, I'm in the 80 range, which is like 13% damage right off the table. And 13% more damage is a good thing to have. Now, you could probably run a non-frenzy charge variation of this, but I'm absolutely in love with the gain endurance charges equal to your frenzy charges node. And a lot of the gear I currently have involves around that. And those 2 rings that I showed are just pretty spectacular with each other. And it offsets the downside of the abysses with that physical damage. So it just kind of synergizes extremely well. But a lot of people don't like frenzy charges for good reason. You have to constantly maintain that shit. In fact, right now you can see that I got 16 seconds on my frenzy charge and 20 seconds on my endurance charge. That's because I'm using the increased duration mastery. And I should use the increased damage mastery. Because it is a pretty significant amount of damage. It's pretty like 56% more damage or some shit like that. And that's a lot more damage. But quality of life for me is always greater than damage. Though this league, I did something extremely smart and useful. I built up all my bosses when I was playing my initial Trickster, and I fought them all at once. And I modified my build just a little bit, and I did mapping with a more simplistic and AoE centered, low damage, high AoE, high mobility build. And then I modified it to do more damage for when I fought all these bosses. So I built up all of my boss maps. I think I had like 10 different Eater of Worlds battles. And that's when I found, I think, 3 Ashes of the Stars out of that 10. It just felt really nice to do it that way. And I absolutely love the changes that GGG has made with the way the Atlas works and the mapping. Despite the fact that I think the Atlas changes are making people quit the season earlier because they finish their Atlas faster. But I still think it's a fantastic change, regardless of whether or not it keeps people playing. I should probably use irregardless to be more annoying for the pedantics out there. I absolutely hate pedantic people. I used to know a very pedantic guy, and we would argue over things like irregardless. And he would say, it's not a word, and I would say, it is a word, I just fucking used it, and you know exactly what it means. It's been used in literary text for over 100 years. May not be a good word, it may mean the exact same thing as regardless, and it may make me sound like a complete moron. But it is in fact a word. I don't know what just happened. Did I get stunned? I was unable to move. I can't be stunned. I definitely had... No, I probably wasn't leeching. I can't be stunned if I'm leeching. My leech probably wore off, and I probably got stunned. I really hate... I love Essence. I think Essence are fantastic, but I hate these fucking Essence mobs. Absolutely hate them. See, that was an extremely low rage attack. And I killed him with one swing. Very nice. Now, I think the hidden lifesaver here is this mark on hit support with Assassin's Mark. Because it gives more of that crit multi and that crit chance. It really boosts my damage. I don't know how to calculate it. Obviously, I can do a POB with this shit and calculate it that way. But it really does boost my damage, and it makes the single target absolutely beautiful. Marks, I've never used before this league, and they are spectacular. Yeah, and I've never known how this mark on hit support worked. I always thought that you had to have a skill, just because I didn't read it very effectively. It's like mark on hit, I just read the title, and I thought you had to put that into your links with the mark and have it use a skill, so like a brand to apply it, much like the curse on hit. But this mark on hit, you don't even need it to a fucking thing. It'll just work for any attack, and that is fucking incredible. I'm surprised they even did that. I mean, obviously it only works on unique enemies, but goddamn, that is so brilliant. Alright, we saw that boss. Is this the electric motherfucker? He's always hard. I think it is. Let's fight the electric mother... Oh, Steel Frenzy charges. Let us remove that Steel Frenzy charges bullshit. Pump it up. Less area of effect, that's fine. Maim, lightning is physical, yeah. That's all good. Let's do this boss. Spin that axle round and round. Spin axle round and round. I typically hate the Abysses, but I've been really enjoying it lately. I typically don't like the physical damage shit, but I don't know. It just hasn't been... Maybe it's because I'm at 90% and that's offsetting it. My evasion's at like 50-ish when I'm running maps. But with those endurance charges, it just synergizes so well with the Abysses. Because I have 90% physical damage reduction. And when you're using an Abysses, you're still going to get fucking dumpster cum dumped, wrecked, dumpster fire, slapped, diddy daddy batty on any type of big physical hit. But it's never the big physical hits that typically get you when you're just doing regular kind of mapping. It's these little tiny fucks that hit you, that rock your shit. And I'm kind of suspecting that these blue cum shooters do a little bit of physical damage with their spell. Because they really can just jack your shit when you ain't paying attention. So it might be like a physical attack that's converted to half lightning or something like that.
My spirit is spent.
I don't know. It's painful, whatever it is. There's a new game called Star Ocean out. Star Ocean something. It's like the 10th one in the edition, or the 5th one, something like that. The last one I played was the 4th one on the Xbox 360. In fact, I bought a Red Ring of Death Xbox 360 for 20 bucks. Souped it up, fixed it up, took it apart. Bought $20 worth of heat sinks and the little screw things. And it worked just fine. Modded it. And then got the game illegally. This was back when I had significantly less financial resources than I do now. Now I can just buy everything and not really have to worry about any of this piracy shit. But I come from the old school days where piracy was king. PlayStation 1 mods where you would have that little tool that forced the lid open and then you'd put the disc in and then you'd be able to swap your disc out. And you had to open up your PlayStation and mod the actual mod chip in. That's some old school piracy right there. I was into all that shit. Being a poor person from a tiny little town who could not afford $60 a game. He couldn't even afford $5 a game. In fact, when he went to play football, his parents decided to buy him some cheap-ass cleats for about $12 at this little store called Walmart for football. And he found out that he has really bad heels, and the cleats hurt his heels. So instead of asking for better cleats, he just quit football. He got better cleats after he got a job at a fish farm, but you know. Anyways, that's my justification for piracy. It's a pretty good justification as well when you think about it, because I would not have been a customer otherwise. I kind of covered this a little bit on Netflix when they decide they actually want to try to increase their revenue and profits. They're going to have to, they don't have to. They're going to make the shit decision of trying to cut back on people sharing accounts, not realizing that the people sharing accounts likely aren't going to get their own accounts once they can't share from someone else's. So there's a reason they don't already have Netflix, and it's not always the fact that they can get it for free. It could be other situations. And then the people that are sharing with multiple accounts, multiple people, they have a significant less reason to keep it. So there's a lot of people out there that probably don't use Netflix very much, but because their account's shared with so many people, they're just like, what the fuck ever, I'm gonna keep it. Probably a lot of parents that way too. And they're just like, yeah, I would cancel my Netflix, but my daughter uses it or my son uses it. Well, that was smooth as butter. So I think when Netflix decides to push back on that, they're chopping their own dick off there. But anyways, I don't even know what this topic was referring to, other than the fact that I was justifying my piracy. Oh yeah, so you got a bunch of fucking poor people, and they can't afford video games, so they pirate instead. It's not lost revenue. You're not losing any revenue, because they would have never bought the product in the meantime. And Microsoft is actually pretty smart along this regard. They sell Windows, the application, the operating system in America, for around $100 to $300, depending on where you are. Students can get it for like 10, because they know students don't have $100 to spend on an operating system. But if you go to Africa, you can buy Windows for about $5, because they know that people in Africa can't afford Windows for $100, and all it is a CD key. They are not losing any revenue with that $5. That $5 that they get for that Windows copy is pure profit. And Microsoft is pretty smart in that regard. They will charge what people are capable of spending. And that's kind of how the entire economy works. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that, but you can only charge what people are willing to spend and capable of spending. So the better the economy, the higher your prices go. So if the government just decided to start spitting out oh, motherfucker. I should have waited and got some rage up. Just walked in all fucking half-cocked. If the government decided to start shitting $2,000 to every person and their fucking mom, well, guess what? Everyone's got $2,000. Like, if they get $2,000 a week to every person on this planet, the prices of every single product will shoot up exactly proportional to the additional money that people have been granted. And people will be just as poor or just as rich as they were before. Because now when you go to McDonald's to get your chicky nuggies, instead of being $10 for 20 or whatever they are now, they're going to be proportionally larger for how much disposable income the people have. And yeah, them's just the facts. It's unfortunate, but there is a true phenomena of scarcity. Currency can have artificial scarcity to it, which is why currencies are very dangerous, because they are created out of thin air. Just computer notes on a computer screen. Characters on a computer screen. It's invented out of thin air. But commodities have real scarcity to them. There's only so many pigs on this planet. You can only create so many pigs to make pork, or chickens to make chiggy nuggets. And those are real resources. So when you artificially inflate the fake resource that is currency, the real resources maintain their value.
I can't do this just yet.
Interesting phenomenon with gold. Am I supposed to be out of this circle? It doesn't matter, I killed him so fast. Back in the day, 1 gold bullion would buy you a nice pair of shoes, a nice belt, and a nice suit. That's what 1 gold bullion 300-400 years ago would buy you. Today, a nice gold bullion will buy you a nice pair of shoes, a nice belt, and a nice suit. It will buy you the exact same products as it would 300-400 years ago. Because gold is a hard resource that cannot be artificially created. Now, I'm not saying gold is a better currency. That is far beyond my ability to say. I have my personal opinions, but my opinions are not based on reality. So we have this centralized banking system, which I woefully oppose through potentially a massive amount of ignorance. Because over the past 100 years, society has progressed more so than any other 100 years. And that progress has also been a part of the, I'm going to call it the Federal Reserve, though there's more than just the Federal Reserve. There's a whole centralized banking, but I live in America, so I'm going to use the Federal Reserve. With the Federal Reserve in creation since 1912 with Mr. Woodrow Wilson, the worst presidents that has ever existed, they went to this private island called the Island of Jekyll Island, and they created this whole monetary policy where America would give up its right to create its own currency to the Federal Reserve, which is a conglomeration of a bunch of private banks. So these private banks then took over the entire creation and maintenance over the currency of the U.S. economy. So there's pros and cons to that. I view mostly the cons because that's just the way my brain works. But there is no denying that all measurable metrics have improved. Well, maybe not all. There's a disparity of wealth that has not improved. But infant mortality, the general well-being of all people, it has improved significantly over the past 100 years. A lot of people, they view history through the modern lens of today. And you can't really do that effectively because back in the day, people actually had hard lives. Today, almost nobody has a hard life. There's a few people who work on oil rigs and work in coal mines. A perfect encapsulation of this is our poor people, our homeless people, are the most people with obesity problems. Meaning that they're eating unhealthy food, but they're able to get enough food so they're fat. And that couldn't have happened 100 years ago. The poor people were gaunt and skinny because they couldn't afford food to eat. So modern society was created with the Federal Reserve in place. Now, we don't know what it would have been like without the Federal Reserve, which is why it's almost impossible to determine whether a decision was a bad decision or not. There's only the decision. You make a decision, it's best not to think about the other possibilities that could have been, because there's no way to know how your life would have been with that alternate decision. So you will just drive yourself mad unneededly with that type of thinking. So it's better just to put it out of your mind. Make a decision, stick with it, and know you can never know what the other decision was. For instance, I pulled out of a hat a bunch of careers in high school because I had no fucking clue what I wanted to do in high school. I was a dumbass. Pulled a bunch. I put, I think, 100 different job occupations into a little box, and I pulled one out. It was helicopter pilot, and I was like, okay, no. I put that one back because I'm a little bit afraid of heights, and I didn't really want to be a helicopter pilot. That's just, so I put that one back. I audibled. Then the second one I pulled out was a computer programmer. And I was like, all right, I can do that. I'm a bit of a fucking dork. I'm nerdy, excellent at math and physics, terrible at English. It seems like a pretty good career path. So I went to nerd school and got my nerd degree, and have been doing nerd shit. Now, had I stuck with my original choice and been a helicopter pilot, my life would be completely different. And there's absolutely no way for me to know which life would be better. So I rarely... See that blue cum? It's so dangerous. You just barely... You just stop moving for a second and you get blasted. Blasted with that blue jizzles. So I would have had no way to know, you know, how my life would have been in that alternate scenario. Would it be better? Would it be worse? There's fucking no way to know. So I don't ever really contemplate what my life would have been. Recently quit my job. I don't contemplate whether that was the right decision. It's the decision I made, and there's no way to know how the cookie would crumble if in a different situation. Stealing that from Bruce Almighty. I believe that's where they say a cookie crumble bullshit. But it's always good to be assured in your decision making. Now that ain't to say to make rash decisions. You definitely want to think deeply on your decisions. But once the decision is made, fucking hold strong to it. Have faith in your decision that it was the best decision you can make. Tying that back to the Federal Reserve, there is no way for us to know whether the Federal Reserve is a blight on the world or whether it is a blessing on the world. I think it's a blight, but I have no way of knowing this. So I don't have the arrogance of a lot of other people to say, like, abolish the Fed or shit like that, because we don't know what the alternate reality would be. Maybe the Fed was great. Like, imagine, since America is so bifurcated with its political sides, imagine having Trump in full control over the U.S. currency. The ability to create it, to print it, to do whatever he wanted. So Trump is a egomaniac, and I believe he mostly became president so people would adore him, and he could become more famous than he already was. And during bad economic times, I think I just died. And then that was fucking cool. I died and teleported at the exact same time. You can see his adult diddler has been slain. You have entered. All right. Excellent. So if you give Trump the ability to make currency, during Trump's reign, Jerome Powell attempted to increase the interest rate. What that means is when a bank borrows money from the Federal Reserve, because all these banks are in cahoots. Let's say Morgan Chase goes to the Federal Reserve and says, hey, I want $3 trillion to create out of thin air and insert into the public circulation. They say, okay, you can create that at a 0% interest. It was at 0% for a super long time. Banks can create money for 0% interest and then loan it out at a fractional rate. So if they create $1 million, they can loan that $1 million out to whatever they wanted. It used to be 1 to 9. That has now been abolished. Banks can loan out money as much as they want. But when they increase the prime interest rate, when the interest rate at which banks borrow money at, the banks then loan out less money. It's not that much less, but it's a little less. They loan out a little bit less money, and it hurts the economy. And Trump got super mad when Jerome Powell did this under his watch because it started to hurt the U.S. economy, which then people blamed on Trump. Though the president has very little to do with the economy. I mean, he can affect it in certain ways. But compared to the Federal Reserve, the president has very little to do with the economy. Like the 2008 collapse had nothing to do with the president. That was entirely corrupt institutions like the rating agencies and the Federal Reserve under Alan Greenspan, keeping the interest rate too low for too long, which allowed lenders to loan 0% interest rates at a very high percentage to poor people on a variable interest rate ninja loan. So these banks were predatory against the lower financial class, the poor people. They capitalized and preyed upon poor people's lack of financial understanding and gave people that did not deserve to own a home a home. And when I say they didn't deserve to own a home, I simply mean from a financial standpoint. They did not have the financial resources to own a home. And they gave them a bunch of these houses. So these loans were all shit loans that were all going to go bankrupt. So they bundled these loans into packages and then gave them a AAA rating. So they put a bunch of shit together and said, oh, this shit's solid. It's mortgage loans. Those never go bad. It's very safe. They give them AAA ratings, and then they loaded those AAA packages through everything from 401ks to pensions to even individual stock picks. And that should have been caught by the SEC and a couple of other organizations, but they were all probably paid off by large financial institutions, and so it didn't happen. And then the Federal Reserve was culpable because they kept the interest rates so low for so long. So that had nothing to do with the president. But going back to currency, imagine Donald J. Trump having the ability to print money at whatever extent he can. So he wants to have his presidential legacy be one of great economic prosperity. And election season's coming up. He wants to win this election. What's he gonna do? He's gonna print fucking money and just give it away so people love him. And he would do that I have no doubt he would do that. And vice versa, if you're a pro-Trump person. No one's really pro-Trump or against Trump. They're just a part of their tribe. So if you're on the other tribe that thinks that, you know, your tribe is best and can't do anything wrong, Biden is brain dead. And I say that with love because I enjoy Biden. I find him to be that old motherfucker who just accidentally says whatever the fuck he wants and, you know, diddles kids and shit. He's like, hey, kid, come here. Let me touch that ass. And he's just too old to control himself. I enjoy that kind of an old man, like a dirty... This is Master fucking Roshi. Our president is Master Roshi. But he is brain dead. He's old and senile. He had like 2 or 3 strokes. He's not in charge right now. One of the things is fucking hilarious. The president will go... Biden. I'll just say Biden. President Biden will say shit. And then the White House has to, like, issue statements to walk back what he said. So Biden will say, like, oh, yeah, if Russia fucks around, we're going to nuke the shit out of them or some shit. And the White House says, well, he didn't actually mean that. No, he fucking actually meant that. It's just you have his handlers, his controllers, and Trump had the exact same thing. When Trump would say some shit, when Trump would go wilding out and say some shit on TV, his White House staff would be like, no, 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 no. Ignore the president. He's not actually in charge. There's a shadow government that runs everything. The president's just a figurehead. Obviously not what they say, but that is what the truth is. So Biden, being old and senile, he'll be like, you know what? We need to help the minority groups. They're going to all get $1 million. And he just print it out, just hand it out. And then Gucci sells out. And, you know, shit gets wild. A bunch of poor white people get pissed because the minority groups got free paychecks, and bam, World War III. And to tie this all into a slightly more coherent idea on what I'm even fucking talking about, when you make a decision, try to stick with it. Do the best you can to make the best decision you can, but once you make it, don't fret with whether or not it was the right or wrong decision. It's a waste of time, and you'll never have that answer. There's some answers you know were the wrong decision. Way back when, before I moved up to this beautiful, rainy, cold Pacific Northwest, I used to live in this hot desert. And I don't think I got immune to physical resistance. And oh yeah, I do. I used to live in this hot, sunny desert, and it was killing me. And we were living in this desert, and the job I was working for was going through some rough times. And they're like, okay, we're doing voluntary layoffs. We will give you 6 months paid. And I'm a good employee, and I was in a position where I knew I was not going to get laid off when they did do the layoff. So I chose not to take this voluntary layoff. So I didn't get 6 months of free paychecks. I could have just got 6 months of free paychecks and then got a different job. It was definitely the right call. Anyways, I didn't take this voluntary layoff program that they had going on, and I worked at the job, and they did layoffs, and as I said, I was very safe. But I quit the job willingly 1 month after that and moved up to the Pacific Northwest with all you liberal retards, because the weather here is absolutely spectacular. You get gray skies and rain and 40-degree days every day. You wake up in the morning, it's 40 degrees. You go to bed at night, it's 40 degrees. You put on a jacket in the morning, you keep that shit on all day long. Unlike the hot desert, where in the wintertime it'll be like 30 degrees in the morning and then 75 in the daytime. So you put your jacket on in the morning, then you're carrying this stupid motherfucker with you all day long because you no longer need it. Anyways, that decision I know was the wrong decision. I don't fret about it because, you know, it's over the past, but that is one where there was a clear wrong decision, and the wrong decision was not taking that voluntary severance, especially because I just quit the job 1 month afterwards to move up here. So if I'd have took that voluntary severance, I still would have moved up here, and I would have got paid to not do work. And getting paid to not do work is what life is all about. Nothing better than taking a shit while on the clock.
I can't do this just yet.
Another the decision, when I was younger, I didn't have the exuding confidence that I have now. I'm a short boy, rocking a 5'7" stature. But I'm not the ugliest boy that's ever lived. And there's a few times in my history where women were clearly, with the gift of hindsight, a couple women were clearly hitting on me. Clearly wanted to you know, fool around. But I did not have the confidence at the time because I just was used to most women not seeing me because I'm 5'7", which is true. Most women will not look at a 5'7" guy, but there are plenty that don't really give a shit about that. And you exude some confidence, and I have a lot of humor. And there's a few ladies in my past that I could have bed. I could have bed those chicks and padded my number far more substantially than it is now. But I did not see the signs that are so clear in past tense. So those are definitely bad decisions. Because these girls were young and they were not riddled with disease. And it would have just been a great time. All of that missed. With my lack of awareness from the past. So those two situations are pretty much the only real two that I know for sure. A couple medical decisions maybe that I know for sure were the incorrect decisions. But for the most part, when I make a decision, it's in my head, it's the right decision. It's not the right decision, it's the only decision. There's no way to know what the other path is. So make your decision and stick with it. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just don't look back too heavily on decisions you did not make. Obviously, if you make a decision and it's not working out, you can change your decision and alter it. Why am I not gaining life? Is this a no leech map? Yep, no leech map. Didn't pay close enough attention. Get the fuck out of here before I die a bunch. So this build is quite radical. I am enjoying it significantly. Significantly enjoying this build. Let's see what I got for stuff. No stuff. Well, can I switch this up? Do I have enough enough juice to change? Elder fragment. Come on, top left. Oh, baby, it's Elder time. Yeah, it's Elder time. Yeah, I had to bring it back to put it there to make sure that it was the right one. I don't know what happens when I put this right here in the middle. Won't let me do it. This build, I find this build to be extremely fun. I kind of like the throw your weapon, run around and do shit play style. So I can just toss this weapon, and while it's doing damage, I'm kind of free to just roam around and do whatever the fuck I want. I could have waited more before engaging. That happens to me a lot. I pop into the boss and he just swipes me and kills me in one shot. That was obviously a physical hit, and I didn't have my endurance charges up. Thus, Abyssus got the better of me. I got Abyssus. Oh, let me hang out.
My spirit is spent.
Oh, I need to get in the mix. Save me, Shaper. But I have in this game, I have a very difficult time starting battles. You'll see. And it's because I have a little bit of, like, anxiousness or something. Man, it rips those fucking portals. It is ripping those fucking portals. Look at it fucking ripping that portal. So whenever I start a battle, one of it is I use a lot of charges in my build. So, you know, I don't have the charges built up. Another is, like, I don't know, I just don't start a battle very well. So whenever I hop into a battle, or if I die, especially with someone like Shaper. Shaper, it's either deathless or, like, a lot of fucking deaths. There's no real in-between. The AoE picks up a fuck ton when I'm at 105 rage. So I think that's a good determining factor for what a good player for Path of Exile is. It's kind of weird to say, you know, good player for an ARPG, because it kind of is silly to say, because that's for something like Tekken. Tekken good player, it's easy to determine a Tekken good player. But not so much for Path of Exile. But the good players are ones that handle stressful situations with a little bit of calmness. That's not me. I pop to a Maven and the fucking guessing game happens. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, pop that. Ah, fuck. It's over. It's fucking over. I wonder if, oh, god damn it. I'd say I wonder if I could charge up my rage. Not the best build for Elder, because could be the Abyssus, but as you saw, I died there. Like a bitch. Like a bitch. I died like a bitch. If I had a health potion, I could have not died, but I've gotten so used to these auto poppers that putting a health potion on is basically pointless for me, because I'm never going to hit that health potion in time. It's just not something I can do anymore. And my left hand is almost always, you know, gesturing while I'm talking. I'm flailing my left hand around. You can't see me because I refuse to turn my mic on because, again, I live in the Pacific Northwest. If my face and likeness got on the internet, I would never be able to work again, based on the dumb shit that I say constantly. I can never pop a potion anymore in time, so I just don't run health potions. So when you watch a lot of my builds, you say, oh yeah, he died like an idiot. If I was playing this build, I wouldn't have died like an idiot. You know, 9% of damage taken from mana before life. Gain 20% of physical damage as extra lightning while affected by wrath. This sounds like a dog shit. 30 chaos. 3 divine. Yeah, no one's gonna buy that for 3 divine.
My spirit is spent.
Sounds like a dog shit. So I'm gonna put it up for 1 divine. Now with this build, I tried to do this axe here. I went and bought this 176 physical damage. I forgot the price. It was a couple divine. A perfect roll on the fizz for a synthesis. And I was hitting it a bunch. I put a lot of resources trying to get this right. So finally I was just hitting it with some essences. And I hit it with the Impale Essence with the 34% increased Impale effect. And got some bleed, some accuracy, some crit multi, and then a fizz. It's pretty good. I'm going to try to sell it for 10 divine. Let's see. I doubt it's going to go for 10 divine. Just do a flat damage one. 1 divine, and then do some crit. 1, 5, 7, 10. So the only people that's going to pay this price are people that are interested in Impale, which there are none. So it'd have to be someone doing a two-handed axe Impale build, which I don't believe a lot of people are doing. So it's been up there for 10, and I'm fine if it. I'm going to drop it to. I'll drop it to 7. I'm fine if it doesn't sell. I'll re-roll it and try to get something better later in the future if I decide to run an axing. But I put a lot of shit up here, and I'll just leave it for a long time. And if it doesn't sell, then I'll go back through and I'll do a reduction. And yeah, I got this bad boy. I wanted to do something with that. I still might, but we'll determine. We'll see. We'll see. Of course, it's going to give me the exact right side, which I only always get the right side. I never get the left side. Let's go ahead and do a gander at path of building. It's just, oh, I already got it built up. Sweet. I did this last night, but I didn't have the time to do the build. I don't think anything is different. Make sure all that's there. Yeah, so that's the 4.5 million is about the guess for me with a 1.3 million hit. So you hit with 1.3 million and then it spins for 4.5. Now I have some configurations here. Intimidated, they will definitely be intimidated. Nearby enemies, so if you're fighting a boss, let's drop this nearby enemies to 1. So 3.9 when you're fighting a boss. Leeching, rage, let's say rage is 105 when you throw the shit. But let's just do like an 85. 85 rage. Oh, it's still 3.6, so it's not that much of a difference from the rage reduction. 105, god damn it, 105, 3.9, 85, 3.6. So, you know, that seems pretty accurate. And if we do this sacrifice, let's go to 12, 1.3, 15, 1.5. I think 15 is probably pretty accurate. Let's actually just go to it right now. 105, toss it to 80. 105, well, that's 25. Okay. If you're max, it's 25. That's quite a bit higher. 25 doesn't seem right. I think I did the math wrong in my head. 105 to 79 to 80. So 80 to, yeah, 25. I did the math right. 25, 26 is the max throw. Bum, bum, bum. So let's do 26. And let's say nearby enemies, let's do 50. Why not? So like the absolute max, you're looking at 5.5, which is pretty fucking good. Now, there's a lot of douche Maximuses out there. Oh, I'm at maximum effect for pride. Initial effect, 4.7. But on a boss, you know. But there's a lot of douchimus Maximus out there. That are, that's a harsh thing. They're not douches. They are just very passionate about getting the absolute best build. They annoy me. They annoy me to an extreme degree. Because their only objective is, can it Uber? How well does it Uber? And for them, there's 5 to 10 builds that they can do. And that's it. They're very limiting to the creativity that this game allows. I mean, look at this fucking... Look at this shit. Look at this tree. If your only objective is what are the builds that do Ubers the best, what is the hyper farming builds for Ubers, you're not using any of this tree. You're limited to such a small fraction of the builds. Fucking stupid trappers, lightning strike, spectral helix, minions, what the fuck else? Some bullshit shenanigans with self-curse and spark and self-curse and other stuff. Berserkers with their ultra berserk stacking, just pure damage. Rapaholics. I'm gonna call them rapaholics. The rapaholic berserkers. And you're limited. And I don't really like that. Now this is actually a lot of fucking damage. This is a very well built build, which I rarely do. I rarely do a build that comes out with 5.5 million on the damage scale, and it kind of feels like 5.5 million when you play it. That's extremely rare for me. Now, let's talk about if you're a better player or you got better shit and you want to improve this. These axes are 2 to 3 divine axes. If I were to pop this on here, let's do it. Make sure it's proper. Let's just do those. Okay, well, it's saying 9 divine, but I think I crafted this one myself. It's not. It's not going to be 9 divine for that. It's wrong. You can get this for 2 or 3. Or fuck, I don't know, maybe it's 9. I crafted that one myself. This one I bought for 3 divine. Hit that attack speed, hit this crit. I mean, it's not even showing anything. Let me get rid of that. 60, okay. Well, I bought this for 3 divine. I think, obviously it's not me, but Mathel did a Rage Vortex energy shield. What's the fucking name of that? Energy blade, using energy shield. And it was far more interesting than mine. You should definitely watch his videos instead of mine, because he is far better at everything. But he did a build using Rage Vortex, and I'm guessing that the prices might be reflective of that. Another thing, I'm coming up at the end of my season because a lot of my gear isn't selling. So when I do shit, I often buy gear specifically for it, and then I pop it onto the market. But I am sitting on a lot of gear that I want to sell, but it's kind of not selling. And the time it would take to pop it onto the market would be very long. So I got just a lot of fucking gear. And it's getting to the point where it's so fucking messy. Like this, a +1 to Frenzy. I don't know if I'm going to be using this again. Let's hit a +1 to Maximum Frenzy. There's not even one on the market. And there's not a lot of buyers. And most people are fucking done with this game. So buying stuff and selling stuff is becoming a little difficult. And I'm not an uber crafter, so I can't really craft a lot of my shit. But, so I'm probably coming along the end of it. Because I got a lot of currency from those Ashes of the Stars. Oh, speaking of which, do I got any of those bitches to fight? Yeah, I'll fight one of these. Got a lot of my currency from finding a bunch of Ashes of the Stars. And those are now gone. That should be fine. So I might be ending it pretty quickly. Got a couple more builds in the works in my head. And I just started doing this shit, this league. This is the first time I've ever streamed on YouTube. I figured at the time I quit my job in September, and then I just got a new job. Hated it. Quitted that one as well. So I have a little extra time in my hands. So I figured I'm playing the game. I might as well just hit record on OBS and then just throw that shit up there. Literally only takes a couple of minutes out of my time. So, you know, a couple of minutes, I might as well start doing it. I'll never be able to make money on YouTube because I'm not a ninja saying dumb shit and cursing. I mean, I made a video with a bunch of Buffalo Bills saying, would you fuck me? I'm gonna stop talking while I fight this guy. So I can pay attention. Another thing with this build, the damage is kind of very stable. See, I apply the damage. God fucking damn it. Apparently talking wasn't my problem. That's a physical damage, and the mods, if you saw, were anti-physical damage. Cursed with vulnerability. Let's see, vulnerability. And that's it. It's the vulnerability that's fucking me. And abysses. A vulnerability plus abysses. But I can swing these out, and then I can avoid if I'm smart, and I can just kind of avoid it all. And the damage What is fucking killing me? Is that physical damage over time on the ground? I'm baffled. I guess I've never noticed physical damage over the ground. I don't really know. It's got to be some type of residual physical damage on the ground that lingers after those slams, after those writhing masses. So they slam, they gotta be doing something. So I'm gonna wait for him to do his inescapable doom, and after this, I'm gonna pop my berserk. Actually, I'm gonna die because I don't have a health potion. And even if I did have a health potion, I wouldn't be able to pop it because I'm slow. Oh, it could also be my endurance charges. Why are my frenzy? Why am I not? There's the frenzy charges. Okay, I'm gonna pop berserk, hit him with it. He's gonna get fucked. Oh, fucking inescapable doom right as I pop my berserk. Fucking great.
My spirit is spent.
There's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. I should put a health potion on. Not going to, but I should.
I can't do this.
Obviously not the best build for this boss, the way I have it. And as I said, you could build it much better. Getting a better leech would probably be good. Would you fucking drop me in your fucking boots? That was brutal. That was awful. I'm not gonna fight the other douche. Okay, let me see if I can do a better job. Let me represent myself a little bit better. Let's do the banana potion. No, banana potion pops it all in one hit, doesn't it? Do I have a health potion that regenerates quickly on hit or something? No, I'll do the banana potion. Fuck it. And let's get rid of... yeah, we don't need that one. Let's get rid of that one for the banana potion. And you'll see how bad I've gotten at fucking reflexes on my potions. I just don't like popping potions. Big boy, big boy. No, it's not big, it's stuff. I just renamed these a little while ago, like 2 leagues ago, so I haven't gotten used to the names of things. Stuff. Let's try this again. Cannot leech. I cannot do if I cannot leech. Monster's action speeds. Cannot taunt. Attack speed. Movement. Increased damage. Temporal chains. That'll be annoying with temporal chains, but it should be fine. So in this build, I really wanted to be able to path into here and get these increased maximum total recovery. But I just couldn't fit. I mean, I'm doing 5 million damage, so I can pop out some crit or pop out some of this. Well, that's more impale chance, so I can't do that. I can pop out something. I can even get rid of this entire cluster jewel setup over here. I don't really need it. I can just pop this out and save it, but I'm fine without it. I don't do a lot of bossing, and this isn't my bossing build. This is my map. Well, this wouldn't be my bossing build. This would be my mapping build if I were to keep it. Let me see if I can kind of hide over here and not engage the fight. Build up my rage. Pop berserk. right at the... Actually, I'm going to try to get some frenzy charges. Then pop Berserk. And get a bunch of fucking damage going. Even though popping Berserk might not be the best call, but I think it is. Because I got 105 fucking rage. Exert that shit.
This is not a battle you can win.
You and I shall claim victory.
Come on, frenzy charges.
I can't do this just yet.
There we go.
My spirit is spent.
Oh, he fucking got me with the increased attack speed. You guys see how quickly he fucking casts that spell? Oh my god, so slow. So fucking slow with these boots that have no fucking movement speed unless you got frenzy charges. I don't know why I do this to myself. But as you've seen, I haven't used a single health potion properly. Oh my fucking god! Alright, faster attacks, not a good thing on this boss. Faster attacks and giving myself that fucking curse, not good. Not good at all. I am slow as a motherfucker. Give me my frenzy charges so I can move at an appropriate speed. Oh my god, oh my god! I'm getting fucking wrecked. I was like, let me do this again so I can fucking do better with my health potions. Fucking dumbass. I am a fucking dumbass. I mean, why did I not think that a 40% increased cast speed, 42% attack speed, with 24% damage, while being cursed with temporal chains, why wasn't I like, oh yeah, no, that's gonna totally fuck my shit up? Nope, that ain't me. Oh my god, I'm so fucking slow. Oh my god, I don't even want to go in there again. There's nothing I can fucking do. I mean, I was so slow my dash didn't even go off. I hit it. It didn't even fucking go off. Great. Inescapable speed.
Champion, energize the spheres.
At least I got 3 frenzy charges.
Be gone.
And with a couple of berserks. Oh my god, that's so dangerous. Ah, that was all me. I played so poorly there. I could have dashed to the right, but I was trying to dodge those fucking tentacle porns. I just got fucking wrecked. It's embarrassing. I should cut this out. I'm not gonna because, you know, it's not like anything else I do is good. That's the build. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna fucking take a shit in my hand and push it back in my asshole.